Stop waiting for someone to tap you on the shoulder and say, "You're doing great." Stop glancing sideways for a nod of approval before you take the next step. Stop holding your dreams hostage, waiting for permission slips that never arrive. Because here's the reality no one tells you. If you can't build yourself in the quiet, you will crumble in the noise. The truth is, the moment you need the world to cheer for you before you take action, you've already lost control of your own momentum. You've given your power away, and this isn't about being antisocial or pretending. You don't care what anyone thinks. It's about recognizing the trap that most people never escape, the addiction to validation. Look around. Most people won't even start unless they're being seen. They'll train harder if someone's watching, push themselves when they know an audience is taking notes, but the second the eyes disappear, so does their effort. They work well when they're being measured. They show up when the scoreboard is on. But when the crowd goes home and the lights turn off, their work ethic collapses. Why? Because they've mistaken validation for progress. They're chasing the feeling of being noticed instead of the actual grind of getting better. It's like running on a treadmill that's powered by applause. As soon as the clapping stops, the belt slows down, and they fall off. The scary part? This isn't just about social media. It happens in gyms, in offices, in classrooms, in relationships. Someone will be the most disciplined person in the world when their boss is checking in, their coach is shouting from the sideline, or their followers are watching for updates. But take that away, and you'll find out how fragile their commitment really was. Here's the dangerous psychology behind it. When you train yourself to only push hard when eyes are on you, you wire your brain to think external energy is the fuel for your growth. You become dependent. You lose the ability to generate effort from within. And when life inevitably puts you in a season where no one's watching, where no one's clapping, where no one's texting to ask how it's going, you stop. You disappear into your own excuses. You convince yourself that it's not worth it because no one cares. And you forget the most important truth of all. The only person who needs to care is you. This is why most people never grow beyond the first stage of their potential. They want their journey to be photogenic. They want their work to be instantly visible. They want the results before they've even survived the process. But real growth isn't a highlight reel. It's not pretty. It's not quick. It's slow, hidden, and in many ways, ugly. The gym sessions where you look in the mirror and see nothing changing. The study nights where you learn something, only to forget half of it the next morning. The projects you pour yourself into that nobody will ever know you made. These moments don't make it into Instagram captions. They don't rack up likes, and because of that, most people walk away before the magic ever happens. They don't quit because they can't do the work. They quit because they can't stand not being seen doing the work. They can't handle the long stretches of silence where no one acknowledges them. They can't stand the idea of building something that only they know exists, and that's tragic, because those are the exact conditions where transformation is born. That's where the roots go deep. That's where grit is forged. That's where your identity shifts from someone who wants to change into someone who is changing. Think about the seed buried underground. No light, no applause, no audience, just pressure, patience, and time. If it quits because it's not getting attention, it never breaks through the soil. But if it stays, if it pushes quietly against the weight of the dirt, if it keeps growing without witnesses, one day it breaks into the sunlight, fully formed, unstoppable. That's you. Or at least, that could be you. But right now, if you're being honest, maybe you've been waiting for the world to notice you before you decide to become you. Maybe you've been hesitating on that business idea because you want your friends to cheer you on first. Maybe you've been inconsistent in the gym because the person you wanted to impress stopped showing up. Maybe you've stopped learning that new skill because nobody asked you how it's going. That's the exact prison we're talking about. The invisible cage built from the bars of other people's opinions. And here's the harsh truth. The world is not going to constantly reassure you that you're on the right track. Your friends are not going to clap for every step you take. Your family is not going to understand every dream you have. If you rely on applause to move forward, your pace will always be dictated by other people's attention span. In silence, the work is yours alone. No one else knows what it costs you. No one else knows the sacrifices you're making. No one else sees the battles you're fighting in your own head just to keep showing up. But in silence is also where you find your real power. Because if you can build yourself without an audience, then the moment one appears, you're unstoppable. And if they never show up, you're still unstoppable. That's the kind of commitment most people will never understand, because most people will never live it. That's why this first truth has to sink in deep before anything else. You are responsible for your own momentum, not the crowd, not the comments, not the likes. You. If you can't build yourself in the quiet seasons, the loud ones will destroy you. If you can't endure being unseen, you'll never be ready for the moments you're finally seen. So before we talk about how to build discipline without validation, you need to decide, are you willing to be invisible long enough to become unstoppable? If you are, then you're ready for what comes next. If you're not, you'll keep chasing applause until you burn out. Because only one of those paths leads to actual transformation. And it's not the one with the claps. So if applause isn't the fuel, what is discipline? Not the kind you talk about. Not the kind you post about. The kind you actually live. The kind that doesn't need an audience to exist. The kind that doesn't get weaker when no one's watching. The kind that operates on a promise you made to yourself and refuses to break it. Discipline is a private contract. It's you saying, I will show up no matter who does or doesn't see it. It's deciding that your work ethic is not negotiable based on the attention you get. And here's the part most people get wrong. Discipline isn't about hype. It's about systems. It's about creating a framework so solid that even on your worst days, you still execute. Think about it. If your effort is powered by motivation, you'll be inconsistent. If your effort is powered by accountability partners, you'll stall when they're gone. But if your effort is powered by discipline, nothing can take it from you. You train when nobody's looking. You keep learning when nobody's clapping. You keep building when no one even knows you're in the room. That's when the shift happens. When you stop working for them and start working for you. Because real transformation doesn't happen when the world notices. It happens when you notice. It's not about proving people wrong. It's about proving yourself right. One day, you look in the mirror and realize the person staring back is not the same one who started. Not because someone told you you've changed. Not because you hit a follower milestone or got a compliment. But because you've seen yourself keep promises day after day in silence, without witnesses. That's self-respect. That's power. And here's the thing about power built in silence. It's unshakable. When you've trained yourself to move without validation, you become immune to both criticism and praise. You don't get too high when people love you. You don't get too low when they ignore you. You just keep moving forward. The noise becomes background. The only thing that matters is the work. That's why discipline without validation is the ultimate advantage. You're no longer waiting to be seen. You're becoming someone worth seeing. And by the time the world finally notices, you'll have already built something they can't take away. So the question becomes, how do you practically train yourself for that kind of discipline? How do you wire your mind to keep showing up without applause? That's where we go next. Now it's time to turn this from an idea into a way of living. Because discipline without validation isn't just a belief. It's a practice. Now I am telling you how you train it. Number 1. Detach from praise. Every time you tie your worth to someone else's reaction, you hand them the keys to your consistency. Stop asking, did they like it? Start asking, did I do what I said I'd do? Measure progress by execution, not applause. The moment you stop needing recognition, you start owning your results. Number 2. Set private goals. Not everything needs to be announced. In fact, the most powerful goals are the ones you keep to yourself. Decide on milestones that nobody knows about but you. Track your progress privately. Let the wins live in your notebook, not your news feed. When the reward comes from seeing yourself move closer, instead of seeing others react, you've broken the addiction to validation. Number 3. Make discipline. The best performers don't wake up each day and ask, "Do I feel like it?" They wake up and say, "It's on the plan. That means I do it." Build a system where the work happens by default. If you write, have a set time. If you train, have a set routine. If you study, have a set block. The fewer decisions you leave for your emotions, the more consistent you'll be. Number 4. Celebrate in solitude. When you hit a win, don't run to broadcast it. Sit with it. Let it be yours. Pour yourself a coffee, take a walk, or simply smile knowing you kept your own word. That feeling, the quiet pride of self-respect, will outlast any round of applause. Number 5. Train for boredom. Anyone can work hard when it's exciting. Few can keep going when it's repetitive, unglamorous, or slow. The more you can work without the spark of novelty, the more unstoppable you become. Because success isn't built on motivation, it's built on repetition. These steps aren't glamorous, but that's the point. They're designed to make you independent from the emotional highs and lows that derail most people.
When you live this way, you stop reacting to the world and start controlling your own pace. You're no longer waiting for a signal to move forward, you are the signal. This doesn't just build success, it builds resilience. Because if you can execute in silence, you can execute through noise, chaos, criticism, and pressure. It won't always feel rewarding. There will be days where you question whether it's worth it. There will be moments where you wish someone would notice the effort. But here's the truth. Those are the exact moments when the gap is widening between you and the rest of the world. Most people quit there, you won't. And when the results finally break through, whether that's a new body, a new skill, a business, or a personal transformation, you'll know it wasn't luck. It was you, showing up day after day, long before anyone cared. You don't need their claps. You don't need their eyes on you. You don't need their permission. You need discipline. You need grit. You need to be able to look in the mirror at night and say, "I kept the promise I made to myself." Because one day the world will notice. They'll ask, "How did you do it?" And you'll smile, because you'll know you did it without them. You built yourself without validation, and that's why no one can take it from you.